Channel where I talk about my knitting, spinning, and some of the things that we do here in the farm with my 3 sons, husband, dogs, chickens, bees, all the things. And I thought I'd just come back and share with you some of the things that I've been working on. I have a couple finished objects, a couple of works in progress. And I know I talked about a fall and winter knitting plans, but I was waiting to hear back on a big test knit. So that's kind of changed things a little bit. So let's just jump right in. I do have a finished object. I did do another test knit for Michelle Franzetta over at Mishi Fraz Knits, and it was for her holiday beanie. Sorry, I did one out of my hand spun because I was waiting for my yarn to come in from Knit Picks, and then I was disappointed that it was acrylic. And I don't know why. It was out of a super bulky yarn. But anyway, so I held my hand spun. It's actually one of my very first hand spuns that I ever spun up. And I held this double. There's another skein of this around here somewhere. And I even forget what fiber this is. It's probably some kind of merino. And yeah, I just love, I'm sorry, I hope that's coming out right. I just love the pattern. It's very subtle. I think it gets lost in this yarn choice because the yarn itself is very busy, but I didn't want to wait. The other yarn was delayed, and then when it came in, it was acrylic, and I already started this one. So it was a really quick knit, a couple of hours. I did it in like a couple of evenings, and yeah, I love it. I think this fits snugly because my yarn was very stiff. I held a double. It took about 45 yards, so 90 in total, held double. And yeah, I had to add an extra knit row at the top for it to come together, but that's not because of the pattern. Her patterns are wonderful and easy to read. It was really more my yarn choices and how I was holding it. So, but yeah, I can't wait to wear this when it's a little bit warmer. The colors are obviously very fall today, but it's still kind of, well, it's not warm, but it's like in the mid 60s. So, but the colors match, which is beautiful. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to wearing that here in a couple weeks, maybe months. I don't know. North Carolina doesn't ever really get like cold. I mean, it does get cold. It just doesn't get like freezing cold. Anyway, so on my Dreyma sweater, I've made a ton of progress. I'm at the sleeves. So see how that's coming out? I love that hem, the decorative decorative band that she has at the waistline. I just love how that came out. And yeah, let's see if I can get this back. And I don't know how much is coming in the frame. So I just love how that is. It fits wonderfully. And then I'm at the sleeves. I just started my first sleeves, and I don't know why I don't like sleeves. I just don't. I do usually do magic loop. And as I'm going through, it's just a lot of fiddling, a lot of counting for your decreases. It's not that bad. It's just somewhere in my head, sleeves drive me crazy. But so anyway, I've started that one and finished the body. So I hope to have that done in the next, I don't know, hopefully in the next week I'd have 2 sleeves done. I don't know, it seems like probably not, but we'll see. Hopefully. I'd really like to wear it. I mean, it's still obviously still too warm for it, but I'd like to wear it or finish it because I got sidetracked. Whenever I got the sleeves, I was like, man, sleeves again. I feel like I was just doing sleeves, even though it's been a couple of months since I was doing sleeves. But I did start a ranunculus, which I have not knit before. I know it's probably the most famous pattern on Ravelry. And I feel like when you see people who knit the same pattern multiple times, like some people have knit it like 5 times, it's just got to be a good pattern. I didn't want one that was so open and airy, so instead of doing it on a size 10 needle, I went down to a size 6, which is a 4 millimeter needle. and I liked it better. I found a project on Ravelry that I really liked, of someone who's put in amazing notes on how she modified it for her ranunculus, and I don't know how to fit. This was the first big project that I've done that I'm actually doing a lot of modifications on my own. I mean, this is two pattern. This collar is two pattern. I think I've made one mistake where I was one stitch off somewhere back here, and you can't tell. It's like in this these decorative stitches that she's done, and it's like one stitch off. Like I had an extra knit, so I forgot to put a knit, so I had to make one in there and then size down. Anyway, it is exactly two pattern. I just have gauged down. So what that means is, or at least what I think that means is, once I get to here to the raglan stitches, I have to decide what size to wear, which means I probably need to go up. Her smallest size is like a 48-inch or 46-inch finished bust, and it's meant to have like 10 inches of positive ease. I mean, like it's supposed to be huge. I don't want one that's that big. I would like one that has like 5 or 6 inches of positive ease, maybe not, maybe something around there. I don't know. So my biggest thing now is in the raglan stitches, and when I start divide for sleeves, um, making sure I have the right yoke depth to get the size that I actually want and for a fit that I will wear. And I don't know. I'm using knit picks. It's this DK. I did a DK size. It is DK Gloss by Knit Picks. I've never used Knit Picks yarn before. And I'm surprised at how, I don't know, I'm surprised how nice it is. It's just very affordable. It was 75% merino, 30% silk. And yeah, in the color pine, 123 yards per skein. So I bought 8 skeins. I don't know if that's enough. Hopefully it is. And yeah, it has like a slight sheen to it. It's very nice. I will say that I don't work with a lot of merino. I really like more of like the rustic, not to use the word farm yarn, but I really like more of like the rustic wools. So I'm afraid of this wear. How, sorry, I know I always need a hair tie. Um, I'm afraid of how it's gonna wear, but maybe that's just because I haven't worked with merino for a long time and I don't really wear a lot of merino. So maybe it will be perfectly fine, and it'll be a nice surprise with the silk to give it a little bit more structure. But I'm in love with this color. I just think it looks beautiful. I really do, and I can't wait to wear it. And then my mother-in-law kindly gifted me these two little sheep stitch needle. I don't know what you call those, like safety holders, point protectors. I don't know. I love them, and they're so cute with those little sheep. So yeah, and it works nice for this project, and yeah, I love it. I did the tight neckline with the number of stitches that she requires, even for even though I sized down, I still did the same number of stitches. And I use, the wide neckline, which is like that double loop cast on. I can't think off the top of my head, and I did do the short rows on the front and the back. So we'll see how that. I wasn't planning on doing the short rows in the front, but I'm kind of glad that I did. I like the way it sits. So yeah, so we'll see how that goes. And then I also cast on the Aito shawl, Aito, by Melody Hoffmann. And so we talked about this before about using the plotulopi in the plates, and you split slice it together and go through a progression. And I was going to do it in gray colors and change up the order a bit and not start from dark and go to light to dark instead of dark to light. I did it. I must have started this. I think I actually brought some of the pieces out because they just happened to be in that basket I was carrying around. But I must have started this. Well, at least here's at least 3 times, and somehow with talking. I mean, I have 3 kids who need things. I have barely have time that's uninterrupted to knit unless it's like after everyone's gone to bed, which is fine. I mean, that's not the season I'm in, and I will take what I can get and enjoy all the moments with all the kids. But you can see here on the increases, it was like I was increasing correctly on this side, but not this side. So it's like I would get to a row, forget where I was, and instead of slip stitching and increasing, I just didn't. I don't know, in the garter stitch. So you can see that obviously is not the way it's supposed to look. And then on this one, I just decided to skip the white, which is this one, altogether because I didn't think it really transitioned well. So I'm skipping it. So instead of 6 colors, it'll be 5. And I don't really know actually how many colors. I don't think it really matters how many colors it goes to. So I just went with that cream color, and it's still not not perfect. I'm hoping it'll just block into shape. And then the lace is pretty close. I think I might be off on a row or two. And with this yarn, I can't tell easily enough on how to back out a row, which maybe for some people that'd be really easy, but for me, it just doesn't seem to be able to. You can see the stitches. I mean, with it, I'm sure if you guys have worked with that before, you know what I'm talking about. I hope that shows it clearly. But I can't tell enough how to pick it up and back it out. So if I've made a mistake, it looks pretty close. I think that once it's blocked, you're not even going to be able to tell clearly the lace motif anyway when you're wearing it. I don't think. And in pictures I saw in projects, I couldn't tell what the lace is supposed to look like on a lot of the ones that other people have posted. But I love how this feels. Like it's surprisingly well. I mean, again, I prefer the. It's not rustic. It's just the woolly wools. I prefer that feel, and it feels softer, even though it's got quite a halo on there. It just feels softer. I think after blocking, it's even gonna fluff up even more. So I'm really loving how that is. It is one that I don't take with me. I just keep it, which is why I feel like I've hardly made any progress here. And yeah, but I do love it though. And I think it's gonna come out great once I make a little bit of progress. I can't wait to just snuggle with that. The other thing I'm working on, I feel like I have a lot of projects. I said before, like I really like to go from start to finish, but I don't really care about the final product. Um, but I feel like in this, like now, as I'm getting like back into everyone, like in this time of year, right? We're all getting back into our knitting mojo with those fall knits. I just want to cast on all the things, which of course means less project on each individual project, but I have a lot of things going on, which I do love. I love that there's a lot of things that I can just pick up, like my sleeves. I can just make that my car knit when I'm waiting to pick up leave up from preschool, which I have to go do here in a second. And when I'm sitting by the bed, I can work on either of those shawls, the other one. But it just, not a big deal either way. I guess I'm just loving, what I meant to say was I'm loving the variety of knits that I have going. And I never thought that I would really be that person who enjoys multiple knits going at the same time. I don't know. I guess I just have not been that person before. So my last project that I have going is actually kind of a disappointment to me. And it's a test knit again for Michelle Francetta. This is the last one I think that I have going with her for a while. This is her Christmas tree lights, this sock, Christmas tree light sock. And if you see her pictures, it's a beautiful sock and it's perfectly written. And the chart is easy to follow, like all of her charts are. And I have knit socks before, and I have knit a lot of color work, as you've seen. I, however, have not knit color work socks. So my troubles that I'm running into are that I started off great here in this top band. When I got to the second round here, I accidentally knit, which was too late for me to correct because I wasn't going to go back. I was already in the heel, but there's an extra row here, so it looks more like, I don't know, a little pepper maybe more than a light bulb. And I'm like, well, it's one. I've got to make two, so I'll just take pictures of the one that's correct, or I'll, maybe no one will notice if I bunch it up when I'm taking pictures of it. Then I got to the heel, and it's a shadow wrap heel, which I've done several times. I accidentally dropped when I got to one of the if you ever done it, you do like a series of like double stitches and then a triple stitch. And I dropped one of the third, sorry, it's too short here. I dropped one of the third stitches in this area here. And I didn't know how to pick it up properly. I looked for the thread. It was just, I don't know. And then I feel like I just picked up a random thread, which obviously wasn't the right one. I mean, of course I can go back in and put something in that will hide that hole. It's not the end of the world. It's just annoying, right? Because I knit the other one stitch too many. This one's now got a hole. And then now I feel like I'm at a good pace, but then I tried to try it on because usually you can try it on after the heel. And I can't get it over my foot. And this is a size small. I mean, I'm a size 6.5, 7 as a women's foot size. Sorry, I can't speak. And this is I just can't get it over. So it means that I can get it over fine here. It just means that somewhere in this orange, or actually, I don't know, like none of the rows feel too tight. I can't get it over. So there were suggestions, which is also part of why I love doing these test knits, I guess, is that people were suggesting different ways to loosen up your color work. Even though you can see, like, as I'm going through, like, it feels like there's lots of give. And my floats here, so there's lots of ends to tie in. But on my floats here, well, it's not going to work, is it, with the DPNs? Like, I have lots of, sorry, just to take some time there to turn it in, like, inside out like I can. Like, the floats are fine. I've caught the floats. I stretched it out on the needles. Oh, sorry. And I feel like there's none that are specifically like tight. Does that make sense? Like, as I'm stretching, there's no specific row that feels like, oh man, I wish I'd made that one row looser and that would solve it. It's just not how it's coming out. So someone said suggesting knitting them inside out. And actually, I think part of my problem too might just be that I'm working on DPNs. I like working socks 2 at a time magic loop. And I thought because it was this color work and I'd never done one before, or I'd never done color work, that maybe DPNs would be the way to go. And it might be. I just am not having any luck. So I feel frustrated. So I pause. It's not due for another week or two. I think it's due I think the pattern is released on the 10th. So maybe my date is coming up sooner than I think it is. I mean, it wouldn't take me but an hour or two probably to finish this out. It's got one more repeat plus the toe. So that's probably like 2 hours worth of work. So I don't have to weave in the ends for photos. And it will block out fairly quickly. But anyway, so I feel frustrated, not at all with the pattern, just with myself. Like, either not paying attention to that one row peat, which is it's not a big deal. You know, when you're wearing it, no one's really gonna, no one's gonna see it, but it looks, I don't know, it's kind of funny. This side doesn't look as bad as that side, I guess. But it just feels frustrating after putting so much time in. And yeah, so it was just disappointing. I feel like I'm saying that 1,000 times. It was very disappointing because obviously it's very disappointing. So I feel like I don't want to work on it. I just want to scrap it and start over and do the DPNs. But then I feel like I'm wasting this. But then again, who cares? I guess I could just make this like a mug cozy or something. But it's probably too tight for that too, isn't it? I don't know. Put like I don't know, your coffee cup in there. But it's probably not big enough. I'm going to start over. I'm going to keep the same size and just try again and then just see how that goes. I got all of the yarn from my local yarn shop, the Fearless Fibers. Some of them you saw before. I'm just reusing the green that I'd already purchased. And then the other colors that I haven't used yet are still that West Yorkshire Spinners, 75% wool, 25% nylon 4-ply. And I love this. I really do. It just feels so nice. It's easy to work with. I was worried about splitting with the superwash, um, but it doesn't. I mean, it's not too bad. Everything has been wonderful. All of these colors. So I was going to use purple and pink as the last light bulbs, but I don't think I need 2 more light bulbs. So I think it's just one more repeat. So it'll be like blue and maybe the purple. I don't know. We'll get there and see how it's going to go. I mean, I'm going to start over, so I might shuffle some colors around and we will see how that goes. But yeah, so I don't know, I went through that pretty quick. How are you guys doing? What are you guys working on? If you've done the ranunculus, if you could tell me how you picked your size and if you blocked the yoke part before you chose your size, that would be really helpful. I'm debating whether I should block it out to see how big it really is to get a good fit. And then I also thought, like, once I get it big enough to go over my arms, I could always decrease if I want to. Actually, I really like the waist shaping in the Jessica Steingass Dreyma sweater that I showed you. This one, she has some nice, just very simple waist shaping, which I don't think I talked about, but it was really nice. I mean, it made it so the stockinette wasn't quite just stockinette. You had to pay attention a little bit. I mean, a little bit. And there is something nice about having a project that's just simple stockinette. Like, I can talk to kids and knit. I can listen to our read alouds and knit. And I really can't do ones where I've got to pay attention when we're doing stuff like that, because then I listen to the story with the kids. But yeah, but something like waist shaping is easy enough. And maybe as I can feel myself becoming a more proficient knitter even in the last couple of months in the projects that I've picked and the different techniques that I've learned, which feels nice, right? I mean, like, it's progressing in a skill, which makes me feel like not necessarily accomplished, but I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the process. I'm in loving learning something new. So yeah, so that's what I've been working on. Now, sorry, that was probably pretty chaotic. I'm thinking about going to pick up Levi because I do need to go do that. And I had, I don't know, however long this is, 15 minutes while no one's asleep. Mason wanted to build a Lego castle, and I'm like, wow, for once the house is mostly clean and I don't feel guilty about taking 15 minutes to sit outside and just kind of relax. I feel like the last couple of days have been hard. I mean, hard is relative, right? But as a mom, it's been kind of a lot. I'm with the kids. Obviously, I stay home, which is a blessing, but it's also hard too. And I make it harder on myself because then I feel like between like 10 at night and I don't know, 7 in the morning when no one is saying mommy, 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 I stay up later to, I don't know, get a task done. I prep for school for the next day for Mason, and I knit, and I need to stop and just go to bed so that way I feel refreshed too. I need to get better about just going to bed. I think we've been enjoying the fall. We've been doing a lot of walks, which maybe I'll put some footage in there about the walks that we're going on. Our trail is behind us back here that my husband's been working on. We had a couple of trees down after the hurricane, and it was nice to be able to clear that path. Well, nice that he could clear that path and we just hauled the sticks off. And the kids have been really helpful. Levi likes taking his tractor back there, his little motorized one, and pulling out logs and using his wheelbarrow. And yeah, I want to say we've been prepping the garden, I guess, for next year. I pulled a lot of compost from up in the barn down to the the raised beds. I think the thing is I just want to move the raised beds though. I'm not sure. They're at the edge by the driveway, even though anyway, they're down there through the yard. And I kind of want to move them up closer to the house because there's no water down there. So if I want to water them, I have to fill up 5-gallon buckets of water. And then, hey puppy, and come over this way. Sorry, Ronan wanted to come visit. I don't even know if you can see him or not, but this is Ronan. He was my puppy before kids. So it's one of those things that's like, he was my dog baby until we had actual babies. Then he got demoted to just dog. Oh, I know. And he's 8 this year. Oh my goodness, puppy. 8 years old. No, 7. No, because Mason will be 7, so he's 8. He'll be 8 this month. Anyway, or next month. And yeah, so we've just been working on the farm, getting stuff ready, composting. We started to put hay out for the sheep. Breeding season is not going well just because in the hurricane, one of the gates flew open. This happens every year for us. The gates are always a thing. Next year, I'm going to just rope everything off and padlock it so the sheep can't, migrate from one group to another. And I'll just figure out how to get from one place in the farm to the other, hopping over a fence or something. Let me go pick up with Levi. And I'll probably put in more if I come back later and add more. Yeah. But if I don't come back, sorry, the car going by. Thank you for joining me. And I'll see you again soon. I'll do the fall wrap up now that I kind of know a better idea of like what I really want. There's another test knit will be my first like sweater test knit that I just got selected for. I was waiting to hear back from it. I'm kind of excited about it and also nervous. But the good thing is that I already had a lot of the yarn for that one, which I think I'm going to be using a lot of this sock yarn. It's actually called the Kintra by the Crayabea, and I'm excited about it. Yeah. So I just need to pick a background color and make sure that I understand the pattern correctly probably before I start and can get gauged. But yeah, I'll talk more about that one next time once I understand what I'm doing and have finalized colors, and then we'll go through the fall planning video. So yeah, so thank you for joining me. I'll see you again soon and hope you guys stay well and happy crafting.